folks. This is Angel from The Elegant Thread. This is a channel about cross stitch. Let that sink in for a minute. Cross stitch. So you're probably here because you want to be here. Hopefully. This is going to be a no editing talk. So, you know, lots of bumbling and things like that. Today I am in my kitchen. This is it. There's nothing showing off the frame. This is it. That's the front door, and that's a wall. So, you know, it's a city. So, yeah. And I'm turned this way, facing the kitchen, because I have a whole bank of windows on the other side. And a little story on why I'm doing this. I have a BFF Joe. His name is Michael. And we go running on Saturdays. And last Saturday is the last time we ran together, considering we're all shut-ins now. And he mentions, as we're running along, that he was watching Flosstube. It's another one of those moments like when my brother sent me a text saying he was watching Flosstube with my dad. None of these people cross-stitch. Maybe they want to learn a little bit more about cross stitch. Maybe it's terribly exciting when we all talk about it. So, yay! But he said, "Hey, don't face the window. Don't have the cameras pointing at the windows." Okay. So now you're seeing my kitchen, and you're gonna get the windows in my glasses. So, all right, it is what it is. But the light is better this direction, so I don't have to have artificial light. I just have the windows open. So I have the windows open, so you might hear the city, although it is like the zombie apocalypse here, and there is nobody out. I crossed a major thoroughfare, if you're familiar with Washington, D.C., 15th and 14th and U Street, kind of a major part of town. I crossed yesterday walking against the light at rush hour, and there was not a single car. Let that sink in for just a minute. So, as with all of you, probably getting a lot of stitching done, I'm gonna guess. Or you could be like me and you're not getting a lot of stitching done because you're so distracted by everything else that's going on or that's in your home. Yeah. I actually lost a day. Like, I don't know if this is, it might just be me because I'm a little strange, but I actually lost Friday. And I know that I lost Friday because I was supposed to talk to someone on Friday and I didn't, and I stood them up, and I feel like a real heel. And I'm really sorry. I know you will never watch my Flosstube, but I am terribly sorry. I don't know. I just lived Thursday twice. I don't know where it went. It's like the normal pattern of how you normally go about life is kind of broken up. So at least for me, I don't live with anybody, so I don't have any kind of anything to remind me besides I do work, but even that's kind of the same thing every day, so they're not really different from each other. Yeah, so hopefully you haven't lost too much time. You come and join me. I'm in just one big long day. Yeah. But, and I was stitching, and I was trying to sit down and stitch, but like I couldn't settle my mind, and then my hand was cramping up, and I couldn't get comfortable. And has anyone ever had that? Like, you want so desperately to stitch, but it's just not coming? So this morning I finally settled enough to do something. So I feel real good about that. But it's been this whole week, so I spent a lot of time sewing instead, because that doesn't hurt my hand. But okay, so usually I start with who I'm watching, and then I move on to what I've been working on, and I talked about any kind of fully finished projects that I have. I'm going to announce who won Share the Stash, and I have a little something else to share, and I will talk about those things I've been doing other than cross stitch. Has anyone but me been like perusing the internet looking for stitching logs? Like, I want to see other people stitching. I love to watch other people stitch because I'm weird like that. Me being a bashful stitcher, I don't want to stitch in front of people who don't stitch, so it's okay if they're stitching. I think I was watching Nicole Parkman. I think she has posted every day this week. Yeah, doesn't bother me because I like to watch her. But she is a postin' fool. She is producing Flosstube like nobody's business. Does she sleep? Wow. And that's what they have out now. I forget what they're calling it. Little something. Anyways, they're doing this small sampler that is a little gem. That's it. It's a PDF download, and it's adorable. I need to get one. I'm definitely going to get one because I have to own one of everything. Just like buy one of everything Blackbird ever made. You have, for me, it's buy one of everything from Hands Across the Sea. I can't help it. So I've also been, catching up on everybody on Flosstube because I have a little time on my hands. And everybody else has time on their hands, so they're also making floss tubes, which is good for us. Yay, it's good for our community. I love Valerie stitching in the barn. She's fun to watch. Stephanie from Lindy Stitches. Okay. She gets way all up in the camera like this. And she's adorable. I just want to pinch her cheeks. Anywho, so she suggested that we do like a stitch along either on Google Hangouts or Zoom, I think is what it's called. Zoom, Noom, something. And then people can see each other instead of just watching someone do a stitch along where you watch them stitch. We're all kind of in the frame, and even if you're in your pajamas and you have chicken head from waking up and you're no makeup and whatever, still stitching. Because really, you're looking down at your stitching and you could care less what people look like. It's probably the only, the only like social interaction where it really doesn't matter what you look like. Like, nobody, besides people who are completely adorable and great hair like Beth Twist and Stephanie Webb, people aren't judged on their looks, and we're not judging them on their looks. I'm just pointing out that they have particularly good of that. Yeah, so that's neat. You are judged, however, on your stitches. Sure. Okay. I also caught up on Kindred Stitcher. She does absolutely beautiful things, and she seems to be pretty prolific too. And of course, Nicole's Needlework. Speechless. I just like to watch her talk about stitching. Combing the floss thing that she does, which is so great, and she really should be like a spokesman for like the cross stitch industry because everything she makes is so great, so pretty. I don't know, has she ever made a bungle in her life where she chose colors that like didn't really go or weren't really that great? Because I have had miserable failures before, but hers, everything, even when she does like conversions and things like that, everything's just really beautiful. Of course, she's been stitching for a really long time, and I think she previously had a cross stitching shop. I believe so. I could be wrong. And of course, Brenda and the cereal starter. Okay, instead of hashtag Flosstube or Fiber Talk made me buy it, it should be hashtag Brenda and the cereal starter made me buy it. Yeah. Because everything they talk about, boom, goes through the roof because everybody sells it. I mean, everybody's buying it because they talk about it. That didn't come out right. Yeah. Their stuff's great too. Even though they don't finish everything, but just working on it, except for Brenda. I mean, she really has tons of stuff. Hey, a siren. There is someone in the city, a person out, and it's always, the police and things like that. So I hate to hear sirens because it usually doesn't mean good things. But I have the window open because I'm a woman of a certain age, and I randomly burst into flames, like literally catch fire. So I have the window open even though it's like 50 degrees outside. 45 degrees. I don't even know, but I have to have the window open. This is why I should live in Maine. Right there. Because I love winter. love, love, love winter. And I'm kind of a cold weather person. I never thought that I was, but I have a coat fetish. Some people are winter, some people are summer. I'm a winter. Yeah. I also watched Ellen, Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour. She has done, I think, 3 stitch-alongs, and of course she's just funny to listen to. Wouldn't she be great to get in like a Google Hangouts? You know she would be wearing like the snorkel, woo, while she's stitching, and you know, the crown or whatever. I think I would love to stitch along with her. So, yeah. I also watched Kim at Sassy Jax. She does her Yonder Ways, is what it's called, her program. She's doing an online class for learning stitches, which sounds like it's a lot of fun. So if you have some time on your hands and you want to learn some new stitches, that one's always good. And of course, Carolyn from the Stash Sisters. She works at the attic, and she really is as legitimately sweet as she appears. She is like the nicest person you will ever meet. Carolyn. Yeah. So those are the people I've been watching. Probably a lot more than that, but that's just kind of things that I can think of off the top of my head. So check all those people out. I'll put them down below. Boop, boop, down there. Links to their stuff so you can go find out what they're doing. Stitch a little while you waste some time. We'll say spend some time. We're not wasting time. You know, it's very productive time. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, like I said, I haven't been working on a lot because my mind's been crazy. But before I went to market, I didn't have time to stitch on my own things. Now I understand designers don't get to stitch on their own things because they're busy stitching their models unless they have a model stitcher. I need a model stitcher. For sure. So I didn't have a lot of time. I was kind of crunched getting to market, so I only had about maybe a month to get ready. So I did 2 things that were fairly simple, but I stitched 2 samplers in that month. Woo! So there's single color. I didn't talk about them before because I didn't have my stuff, but I have it back now. So, let me grab my models behind me. Okay, so I took 3 things to market. And the 4th one I don't have with me, so I won't talk about that. So 3 things. The first one is Rhapsody in Blue. It's this. And when I brought this out, Janice from Noteworthy Needle said to me, you know, that name's been used before. I know everybody's probably used that name 100 times. It's probably on 100 different cross-stitch patterns, but I like it. So that's what I named mine. It's small. It's a little ornament. I designed it for my mama, and here it is, finished. Boing, boing. This is an FFO, a fully finished object. Ta-da! So I didn't make it into an ornament. I just put it on this little thing because it's easier to tote around, and yeah, I think it kind of came out cute. It is, by the way, a full coverage thing, and so it really doesn't matter. This is on Ada. And it doesn't matter what color Ada you use. I used, you can use 2 strands of DMC, or you can use a pearl cotton, 1 strand of pearl cotton, and it comes out great. So you really can change the colors. You can pick what you want. There's some little beads, little shimmery silver beads, give it some bling. And if it was an ornament hanging on the tree, your Christmas tree, then the lights would catch the little silver beads and bling bling. So fun. And the next thing I stitched, I affectionately call this one Isabella and the Gun-Toting Rabbit. Yeah, I called it, it's really prim and proper, but this is why. This is it, my pattern, and here it is, Isabella and the Gun-Toting Rabbit. Because it's Isabella, and look at that guy, pew pew, pew pew, you know, he's a gun-toting rabbit. They're like having a shoot-off, a duel, a hopping duel. Yeah. So this is actually not a reproduction. I have a similar one, but this is not an actual reproduction. So it's not a Redwork sampler, the one I have. It's not. It's actually in like orange wool or something. It's not pretty. It's not in good condition, and it's not pretty. So this one, I did a little modern day license with it, but this I stitched in, I don't know, 2 weeks. And I am a slow stitcher, so here it is. Let's see, it's on the back here. I stitched it on 30 count ecru linen, and I used 2 strands of DMC, 814, so it's Redwork sampler. You know, it adheres to the rule. You should always have a Redwork sampler in progress. Yes. You could use any red you want. You could stitch it on any size that you want. Ada, linen, any size. This is 30 count because it happened to be what I had in my stash. This is actually the linen, it's Italian linen, ecru, that came with Mary Frear 1808, and I switched out Mary Frear for 40 count. So I had this large piece of 30 count, and I thought, yeah, it came out great. But I'm not a big fan of 2 strands, although it's fine if you're doing something that's just one color. It's cool. You could do it on a small pearl with this instead of 2 strands. You could do it on a much finer count and use a single strand, which, of course, I would do if I did it again. I also thought about I have another piece of the 30 count and using 1 strand of silk and doing it over 1. So then I would have this one that's large enough to frame. It has good coverage because it's over 2. And then do the one that's over 1 and make it into a little pin pillow. Yes. Just like half stitch, cross stitch. Oh goodness, I knew her name would escape me because the minute I turn on a camera, everything escapes me. The Heidi Cran, that's it. She's in Canada. She does all those little Redwork pillows and she keeps them in a bowl. Oh, so cute. You could do that. So this is you could do so much with it. I think that's very cool. So that's why I designed this. This was one of the very first ones. There, police are back, coming to get you. I'll just let that go. And then they get to my place and they stop. Like they don't want you to know they're coming. Right? I don't know. So it's one of the first ones that I designed. So it's just a single sheet. And I thought people would take creative license with it. I kind of intended people to take creative license with it. So all I put was on the back was what the model was stitched in and what color. So you can pick whatever linen you want. I mean, it has the amount, the stitch count marked off on a grid, so you could figure out. But I didn't put on the back kind of what sizes it would be in different stitch counts. So in the future, I will do that. If you want this pattern, you can get it from the attic. Call Carolyn at the attic, and she can hook you up. I would prefer that you purchase it from an LNS if you can. The attic folks are really friendly, and they can certainly help you out with kitting it up as well as the pattern, or you can get it on my Etsy shop. So if your LNS doesn't carry it. There it is. And the last one I did was this one. Mary Hunter, 1884. Which comes in a little booklet. Ta-da! Here's Mary Hunter. I know, it looks so much better on the cover, doesn't it? Because it's like a great picture. But this is Mary Hunter. This fabric, she's done, I had put it on here, 32 count, I believe. 32 count. I have a little explanation on why it's this marking sampler. Amsterdam blue Belfast linen, 32 count. I got this piece of linen when I visited California, Needle in a Haystack. And I was actually already checked out. I was leaving the store, and I turned around, and this color was on the shelf of linens, and I couldn't resist. I said, oh my God, that color is fantastic. I never buy colored linen. Like, I just don't. I'm a sampler kind of gal. If you could see my layout of my whips, you would see I'm a sampler kind of gal. They're all like this version of prim color. But this blue was just so beautiful. It's like not a blue, not a green, kind of a tealy, maybe kind of color. So it's really great. It's called Amsterdam blue, but it's kind of a bluish green. And it's white. This is actually Blanc by DMC, but it looks kind of ivory on it when you put it against the blue, which is nice. You could use pearl cotton to do this. This is 2 strands of DMC. on 32 count. If you went down to 36 count, you could use one strand for all those people who like one strand. Yeah, it's a traditional marking sampler. Marking samplers are very simple. They were, of course, designed to be kind of rolled up and kept in a basket, and when you needed to mark clothing, linens, whatever it is, and you needed alphabets for the names of the people that you were marking or their initials, then you would pull this out, and this would be your book. This would be your pattern that you used to stitch onto whatever you're stitching on, to mark. And then, of course, I had a few, bands and things like that, just for a few decorative stitches. So this is a very basic one. And again, it was one that I have that doesn't look like this at all. We're talking not good condition. Yeah, this one was in multiple colors, which every single one of those colors was awful. And it's very deteriorated. So I did what I could, got the general idea from it, and then I took creative license with the white color, the Amsterdam blue, and the symmetry. Of course, I cleaned it up a bit and added a few things. So I like it. I added the borders. Yeah. So here it is. This one, if you were interested in that, it's available on my Etsy shop. So those are the 3 things that I brought to market this year, my first time at market. Next year, I will have much more. I just finished a large sampler, which is multiple colors. It's not a single color sampler. It's more of a traditional kind of sampler, and it is Plant Kindness is the name of the sampler. So of course has all those things we love on it, a house and a basket and some chickens on top of a tree. I mean, yeah, I'm particularly proud of the chickens because they're adorable. Just wait till you see them. Okay, so now I have to, of course, stitch that before I get to market. I need a model stitcher. So if anybody knows of a model stitcher who's looking for work, please send them my way. Yes, let them know I'm looking for somebody. Now let's go over my WIPs, works in progress. Okay, so you will have seen some of where I am on these things because I haven't made any progress at all, but it's been a little while since we've chatted. So I'll bring them up, and I have made progress on one of my projects. So let's start. I'm just going to pull from over here. Let's start with Heartbreak Hotel, Elizabeth Atkinson. This is a Hands Across the Sea sampler, and I am stitching her on 46 count parchment. It's a Weeks dye work. It's from Weeks. It's on Zweigert base. Yep. And this is where I was. And this is where I am now. Yep. Because this one, Heartbreaks of all heartbreaks, is oriented the wrong direction. So therefore, I don't have enough space to finish. I think what I might do is this partial done thing. I might just make it like a little pillow or a pincushion or an ornament or something, just to remind me not to do this again. To count, to orient my fabric correctly, and make sure that I'm doing it right. So again, here's where I am now. Lesson for all of you. Okay, good. I don't know if this one, I need to finish it obviously by like December because I need to enter the contest from Hands Across the Sea. But she's beautiful. She's not quite the quick stitch that I thought she was going to be. So, okay, the next thing I'm working on is Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. This is a hashtag Rosewood Manor Sal, sponsored by the Sunshine Stitchers down in Florida. I met Karen Klubo at market, and she is amazing. You thought these things were amazing when you saw them? If you ever meet her, you will be blown away. So, very talented and very nice. Okay, so this is where I am. I'll just use this. I did not iron anything. apologies. This is where I am in Autumn Quakers. I'm stitching this on 46 count. So here's the size. I don't know if anybody else is stitching it on 46 count. I think just me. Maybe I'll fold it over. I don't know. Can you even see that? Do you even care? Do you want to see that? Okay, good. You wouldn't be watching this if you did. Unless you're my dad, my brother, or Michael. Okay! There it is. I haven't made any more progress on it, but I love it. And if you want to see what it's going to look like again, there. I'm using the Valdani, and what I'm doing is taking the Valdani apart into single strands, and it's working perfect. It's working really great. Okay, the next one is Harriett Salt. Yay! By Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I'm going to be stitching this for the rest of my life. Look at the size of it. Okay, so here's where I am. Yay! And I only have this much to go. Look, I'm almost there. No. Yeah. I'm stitching this on 56 count. I believe that's what it is. Let me double check. Okay, I went to grab a project to take on the train with me up to New York, and I'm like, oh, I'll just grab something that's kind of big so I don't, because it bumps and you can't do things that are really, really small. And then I realized I'm not doing a single thing that's less than 40 count. So, duh, can't bring it with me. I need to start something. Means I need to start something else. So, yes, I'm doing it on Zweigart Kingston in Cafe au Lait, and it's 56 count. I'm using Auversois 103, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful, and that linen is wonderful to work on. I think there's somebody out there screaming. You might hear crazy people in DC, because that's the only person that's out right now would be a crazy person that's wandering around screaming. Hear that? All right. If they start cursing, then I'll close the window. So, okay. The one that I have made some progress on is Mary Frear, 1808. This is by Giulia Manfredini, GPA. She's Italian designer. And I took a class from her at Christmas in Williamsburg. And I did make, look, I'm down into the letters. Yay! And I dropped down and started another row. So here I am. I made not quite half a way around the little border, and then I got bored. So then I bumped up and I started to do the letters at the top, and then just this morning I dropped down, bing, starting a new row. Aren't you just terribly excited when you start a new row? I'm like, I take a moment of pause. I don't know, something about it. It's just like this huge accomplishment. I get so much out of starting another row on a sampler. Isn't that funny? Okay, this is on a 40 count. Let me see if I wrote down who that's by. Stand by. Okay, yes, I did write it down. So this is a Zweigart-based Newcastle linen in 40 count in the colorway Putty. So it's great. So of course what came with it was the ecru linen. I like it better on the Putty. So I like things that are not as yellow, kind of on the grayer spectrum, I guess. So it's just I'm drawn to things like that. So those are the things I'm currently working on. I haven't made any progress at all on any of the other things. I have so many whips. But there is something I want to start. I haven't started it. I told myself I won't start it until I finish something. Well, you can see my projects are stinking huge. It's going to be forever before I finish something. And you know what? It's cross stitch. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's all right. It's an art form. It takes a while. So I might, the next time I get bored, I will start something I bought at market. I bought the Saju. This is a bag that I made with a Saju fabric. And I used a vintage fabric I got from Williamsburg, I believe. But this pattern from Sajou is what the cross stitch is. Yes, it's a cross stitch. I don't think I kept the, I didn't keep the cover because the cover is this. It's a cross stitch, and here's the linen. I did go ahead and sew the edges. I mean, it's, wow, you can see through it. Yeah, it's fairly large count, so if I do need something while I'm traveling, like I'm going anywhere, like you can't travel at all right now. So, but next time I need something to do, look, you can see the microwave through it. What? It's like a veil. Okay. So this, I want to start, it's going to look like this. That's about it. And it's a pillow. So here is the backing fabric for it. Isn't that cute? Look at that. And these are all of the Sajou. Look at that. Look at these colors. These luscious colors. Are these upside down? Well, some of them are. But you're just looking at the colors. So, yeah, that's going to be so great. It's funny. That's what it looks like now in pieces. And eventually it will look like this when I get done. It has a ton of backstitching in it. That's the only reason I haven't dove right in some more backstitching than cross-stitching, because that's how you get all of this detail that's in it. But you know, I'm kind of excited to start using some of the Sajou. Yeah, I'm just in love with the stuff. So I made the bag to go with the project because that's what I do. I like things matchy-matchy. Yeah. So I've been sewing bags. There it is. Let's see. I will share with you my bags that I've been making. Let's see. Ooh. When I'm not cross-stitching, this is what I'm doing. I'm making bags because I like to. Now, if you're not interested, move on along. Cross-stitching. Done talking about that. But these are cross-stitching related because they are going to be eventually needlework sets. So it'll have project bag, notions bag, a needle minder, scissor fob, and scissors, and they will all come together. I don't generally not do sets, but lately I've been doing non-sets. But yeah, so I've been just fiddling around with fabrics that I want to play with. So I did make some special orders, and those are mailed off. But for example, I had this, look at this dragonfly fabric. Isn't it cute? And then I lined it with a ribbon, and I put some specialty stitching on it, and then it's teal inside. It's just a little notions bag. I don't have a full-size bag for this yet, so I have it until I feel like doing something with it. I had a little extra of the Sajou fabric, so I put that together, you know, a little notions bag. These are all, oh, my friend, BFF Joe, Michael, he pointed out that my bags, these are notions bags. I call them notions bags. They're small project bags. They're padded. Are the same size as a standard iPad. What? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Check it out. Okay, so now I need to market these little bad boys as not only notions bags. I mean, I put them in sets. I don't sell them individually, but I should. These ones that I kind of have randomly that I haven't assigned to sets yet. iPad holders. Wow. And that's a pretty iPad holder. This is white with blue twally flowers. Yes. Okay. And this one is lined in just some basic colors. I like this one. I might have to keep this one for myself. I don't know. But I had these. I had a few that were just notions bags. Like I don't have the large bag to go with it because I haven't designed anything yet. So, for example, this one, it's lined in these gray with black polka dots. Who doesn't love that? So, And this one's just maybe like half an inch bigger than that one, just barely bigger. So it's actually big enough to have your iPad in it and a pin. Check that out. Thank you, Michael. He's so great. We'll use it as a purse. Okay, yeah. And then I have one other bag that I have that's doesn't have a large bag to go with it. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay, so this one has gold polka dots inside. I just think that's so much fun. Check that out. Now, this would be a very awesome purse. The Dia del Muerte purse. Yeah. Police coming at you again. That's all you've heard all day long, sirens. Yeah. So, iPad holders. So all of these that I made that are just bags by themselves, stand by. There he goes. That, friends, is an example of the Doppler effect. Okay, so all these bags that I have that are Notions bags that don't have homes yet, these are all the size of iPads. So here's one in a blue ticking, antiqued blue ticking, and this is a piece of Sajou linen that I had left over from a bag that I made for myself, lined in a Civil War era fabric. Yes, this one I also made a needle book. You know, it's a needle book. And I wrapped it up with this, I made ribbon out of a piece of linen that I had. It was actually the selvage on a piece of fabric, but it was screen printed in Japan, and it's beautiful. Like the floral print that's on it is beautiful. So I made kind of this prim ribbon out of it, and then this is just with a piece of what I had left over from making the bag. I made a matching needle book. So I'm making all these. I'm just getting creative. I love the engineering process of the whole thing. The Tetris kind of thing, figuring out what I can do with what I have left. Yeah. So this one, I might just keep. I want to keep all of them. They're like children. I love them all. But this one's great too, and it's also the size of. Ding! Exactly. Fits. Exactly. And this one is Marie Antoinette. This is a Sajou fabric as well. And it's lined with little French, what is that, a crown or something? This looks like a clock. I think it's a crown. Yeah. So I made this one oriented so that the back is Marie Antoinette and Versailles. And this one isn't as big enough. These are just Notions bags. That one, and we also have dear old Louis, her counterpart, and also lined with the crown fabric. And this is also a Sajou fabric. Okay, I love toile. I love toile. I'm extremely attracted to toile. Toile and ticking, all the T's. So it's this reddish, deep pink reddish toile, and it's got just a gentle lining, like a standard color creamish lining. Bing! That will always excite me. Like every time I do it, I find it very exciting. So that they fit. They fit in here. Okay, this one you could fit a little bit larger iPad in. The other ones fit a standard. This is just a standard iPad, just a regular old iPad, you know, nothing fancy, not a mini, not a large thing, but this, you could fit something a little larger. Still, this is the Notions bag. It will go with another bag. But if you have a set and you have one of this size, know that you can use it for something else. A clutch, you know. And this one also, same thing, I made two. Yeah. I made a second one of these Sajou bags, because I had a second one. I had enough fabric to make a second one, also lined in the Civil War era print that matches. I mean, check this dude out. Look at that. He's like, I don't know what the heck he is. He has whiskers. So he's like a muskratty, snaky, centipede thing. He has a name. It's like Gargoyle or something, you know. They have some kind of long French name. Look at that guy. It's like a fish thingy, but not. I don't know. Interesting. Whoever designed this as Sajou was kind of, you know, on something. So, yeah. And this one's, you know, longer. So this is, it's halfway between a large project bag and an oceans bag, but I think this is probably a large project bag. I mean, something, you know, like this fits in here perfectly. Yeah. Then I only have 2 of these, and the full set's not done, but they will definitely go on the website. Already gave one as a gift. So the bee bags. Been a very busy bee. Check that out. Bees. Oh yeah. Lined in polka dots. I don't have the notions bags yet, but I do have a little needle book that goes with it. So right now these are just large project bags and needle books, and I will have a notions bag that goes with it, probably in a polka dot with bee inside. Maybe I'll do like a reversed thing for that. I mean, look at this bee. That's so cute. Reminds me of Beth Twist. Okay, the other bee bag. Bees. They're like all the rage. Bees and mermaids is what I've been told. Lined in a matching, coordinating fabric. And this one also has a needle book. But, I mean, look, these things like line up. You know what I mean? Just saying. Okay. And the needle books, I used, again, the little edges of things. I made a little ribbon out of the bee. It's just, you know, standard white inside. So cute. Those are those. And these are the first time I've done, usually my project bags are like my project bags back there. Those are the ones I use. They're this way. They're oriented like with a fold over flap this way, vertically. These new ones that I've been playing around with are oriented horizontally. So interesting. You know, it's just a little something different, something to try. Okay, let's go with this one instead. From Christmas in Williamsburg last year, I got the calendar from Christmas in Williamsburg, and with the antique blue ticking lined it. This is the 2020 calendar from Williamsburg. Yeah, so I made a bag, and it's a very large bag. This thing is huge. So the biggest bag I've ever made. I don't have an oceans bag yet, but I think I'm going to do one in this ticking with some kind of coordinating lining. But that's very cool. Colonial Williamsburg, and it has the calendar. So look, it has a leap year day on it because it's 2020. So I don't know if you went to Christmas in Williamsburg. That's like my mom really liked that one. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make the whole set and sell it. I'm still playing with these things. While I was at market, the people who sold Sajou, of course, I went in there and spent everything I possibly made at market, and I did buy some Sajou linen. This is my bag, my personal bag, Sajou linen. I made for a designer, Kimberly, at Samplers Not Forgotten. I made her a set, which is, I think, my favorite set that I've ever made, and with the Sajou linen. Hers is even better than this one. Hers is lined in Sajou linen. Mine is just lined in Sajou fabric. Yeah, so, and I just have a regular old Louis, dear old Louis. And then I have, a Marie Antoinette needle book. Yeah. So I made myself a little 3-piece set out of this. I even put the Sajou label. When I take apart this linen, it's a huge linen tea towel, and I take it apart, literally, take off the edges, take off the tag that says 100% linen made in France, take off the, pick out, very small, snip out the Sajou label, reaffix the labels. I mean, the whole thing. It feels fantastic. It's just really lovely. But I'm not able to source Sajou linen right now. I tried, but their wholesale section of their website isn't working. So if I could source Saju linen, not retail because it's terribly expensive retail, then I would be able to make bags, make sets like that. But until then, we could all just drool over mine. Or if you have some and you mail it to me, I will make you one. Then I do have this. This hasn't gone up on the website yet, but it will soon. This is a burlap that I got. And it really is burlap, but it has these, it's printed with French things all over the burlap. I bought this when I was up in Maine, believe it or not, at a quilting store when I was there with my friend Kay. She convinced me to buy it. So here it is, and it's lined in red, because that's fun. And this one is it's burlap, you know, so it's really kind of a rustic, very prim set. And I just think it's great. So it also has this, and this doesn't have, I did put a little buckle. So this is also lined in red, Eiffel Tower on it. And inside, this was a very, very prim little needle book to go with it. It says Paris, and it has Eiffel on it. And then I have the scissor fob. I know it's through plastic, oops. That has a little bee on the bottom. And here's the minder. It's a 10 centime coin from, don't look at my nails, because let me tell you, I can't get to a nail place, and they're just going to get worse and worse as we go along this whole quarantine thing. So here is a 10 centimes. I don't know where I'm getting that. Centime coin to go with the whole Paris set. Isn't that cool? So this has like a lot of stuff with it. I mean, good gracious, how many pieces does this darn thing have? Yeah, oh Lord. I haven't put it up on the website yet, but here you go. It says a lot of stuff. So it has the big bag, project bag, the notions bag, the needle book, the scissor fob, the scissors, and the minder, which just dropped again. And the police are coming. How many times is that in the last 40 minutes? 4? 5? I mean, like literally every 10 minutes there's an ambulance. It's heartbreaking. Okay, so enough about the bags. I promised last video, not the one that was the wrap-up of Nashville, but just the regular last video where I talked about running out, not orienting my cross-stitching correctly, and running out of space on Elizabeth Atkinson and having to start all over again. So that, I wanted to share the stash in that video, a pattern from the Drawn Thread. It's called My Favorite Things. It's an old pattern. I don't even know if it's out of print. It might be. I didn't check. I don't really know how to check those things, but if you're interested, I'm a huge Drawn Thread fan, and I've stitched almost everything that they have, so I have extras. And here he is. I'd like to share this stash with somebody. So I randomly stuck it in one of those generator things, and out came Sherry from ABZ Creative. She said that she had chosen, just when she first started cross-stitching again, I'm not reading, I'm out of remembering what she said, she chose colors for something, and it was so awful, she put it away and didn't pull it out for a year. Only a year, Sherry? Really? Because I have things that are like 10 years old. It's been time out for a really long time. So Sherry, I will put my email down below. Please send me your information, and I will mail this out to you, and I'll share the stash. Okay. I have something else in my stash I'm not going to use. Let's share the stash. How about this? It's a piece of Needleworker's Delight Silk Weaver Wexford 32 count linen in lovely lavender. So it's 32 count linen. It's in lavender. You could do something very nice and springy, Easter, or for you Halloween people. Yeah. So I would like to share the stash with somebody. Please be over 18. I would prefer if you're a subscriber. And say lavender somewhere in your comment. And maybe if I get a wild hair, maybe I'll design a little something and put a little pattern in it. I don't know. So you'll get this and whatever other things in my stash I just want to share. So thank you for being here. Under an hour. Yay! I don't even know how I ramble on for 45 minutes. I don't know. Probably because I have a lot of things to show you. It's not so much that I have a lot to say as I have a lot to show you. So thank you for being here. I really hope you got some stitching done and didn't have to do anything that you have to pull out, because I know sometimes when I'm watching Brenda and the Serial Starter, I keep looking up so much that whatever I stitch while I'm watching them, I have to frog out. I just know it's going to happen because I keep looking up because their stuff is so fantastic. Yeah. So let's all find a stitch with me or a stitch along, or if you know of anybody who's doing a virtual stitcher kind of thing, and let me know, and we could all get together since we have some time on our hands. I would love to stitch with you. So have a great day. I hope you get some stitching done. Stay safe out there, and come back and see me sometime.